After a stellar first season of the Toyota GR Cup North America, we are back for a second bite at the apple where it all started here at Sonoma Raceway. We have 29 GR Cup cars ready to do battle around this 2.5-mile circuit. Put 45 minutes up on the clock, put some new faces in, put some old team names, some new drivers, mix it all together, and Kyle Heyer, you've got a great recipe for some of the best racing in all of North America.
Yeah, silly season for Toyota GR Cup North America was a fun one this offseason. Lots of names shuffling around to different teams and different cars. But the super teams that are back, Precision Racing LA, BSI Racing, Copeland Motorsports, lots of familiar teams that we're used to, but a lot of drivers that ran for those teams have shifted around. Gresham Wagner joins Copeland Motorsports. So does Mia Lovell. It's going to be very exciting to see how they do in their first races with their new teams.
Indeed it is, but I think we've got to start at the top of the field here as we look right there at Jackson Bell in that number 99 machine. He is part of that super team, Copeland Motorsports. Alongside Western Workman and Gresham Wagner, they make up 3 of the top 5 positions. Indeed, the top 3 here at this point. Spike Kohlbecker, Lucas Weisenberg, 4th and 5th. But this is going to be Copeland to beat here. As we take a look at the weather, I got to say here, Kyle, we had some sketchy weather a little bit earlier on in the weekend, but absolutely gorgeous racing conditions today.
It's a little cool if you're familiar with California weather, but it's a perfect day for me here. I'm enjoying the weather. It's an absolutely gorgeous day for racing. Brand new track surface as well. We were qualifying 3-4 seconds faster than last season, so the grip levels are up, the anticipation is up. A lot of drivers that are joining us from other single-make championships. There's a lot of buzz around the new drivers that are joining us here this season. How about Max Hewitt for BSI Racing rolling off in the outside of row 3? He's a driver to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, I think certainly one to keep an eye on for, as well as Mia Lovell, who it is safe to say dominated the fastest finishing female award last year. Mia linking up with Copeland Motorsports, absolutely dominant up at the front of the field here at this point. She is going to be looking very, very good, but she's got some competition. We talked a lot in the qualifying and in practice. Jade Avedizian, a name to really, really keep an eye on for here at this point. I think we're going to have to keep an eye for that. Another one you mentioned, one of the power teams, Precision Racing LA, led off here by Aiden Yoder. He's going to be the highest placed one at this point. Aiden getting a podium last year. Hoped that would be a little bit of a breakthrough. And a little bit of the mid-pack, but Aiden looking to have a good time this way around.
Absolutely. How about 15-year-old Adam Brickley starting 9th in the number 51 for Copeland Motorsports? Talked to him and his dad yesterday. They are very excited to be a part of this championship. But 15 years old, that's unbelievable. Here's a look at Sonoma Raceway. 2.505 miles around here, 12 turns, and the elevation, hundreds of feet of it, DJ. It all happens in a hurry.
Yeah, it really and truly does. But the crucial thing here, Kyle, is you look at that fast-flowing Sector 1, that going up to Intermediate 1, Turn 1 through all the way through 5. It may be a driver's delight to be able to take around there, but there's not really an overtaking opportunity until you get to Turn 7, and that means you've got to have a lot of patience on this circuit. Turn 7, Turn 9, Turn 11, those are really the only high percentage areas you're going to get a pass done.
Yeah, they got 12 corners here. 7 and 11 are the ones you're going to try to pass in as a driver, but you can force it at 9 if you need to. You can force it in 4 if you need to. And I think we're going to see drivers try all 12. It might not work out all the time, but this is a fantastic racetrack. It's really well set up for these cars, these front-engine, rear-drive, well-balanced, lightweight racing GR86s. This is a very fun racetrack to drive on, especially with this new pavement. They're so stuck to the road. There were drivers that joined us from our touring car series, like Devin Anderson, who just made a comment about how fast these cars are through the corners around here.
Yeah, very, very quick as we take a live look at the grid, getting ready to fire off here, and everybody just so eager to get this series underway. Of course, we started off with a little bit of a sour note last year when we got things going, had a big incident coming down out of Turn 7. Hopefully that's not going to be the case this year, as we want some good, clean, side-by-side racing like we championed over the course of the entire year last year. You know, you talk about single-make racing, sometimes things get a little sketchy, but we kept things clean, we kept kept things green, and we put on a show.
Yeah, we were very impressed up here in the booth. Race Control was impressed with them for most of the year as well. They did a fantastic job. Drivers of varying levels of experience in cars that are all very close together on pace, racing at North America's best racetracks. It's often easy to get yourself caught up in the moment and cause an incident or loop the car around. We did a great job last year, hoping to carry that momentum into 2024 with another successful year of this championship.
Yeah, we really want to be able to carry that on here at this point as we take a look at Gresham Wagner. Surely has to be counted as the title favorite here early on. Finished second last year in the points to the eventual winner, Tyler Gonzalez, put on a great show. And of course, we have to give homage to the sheep of Sonoma, the wonderful natural lawnmowers here around here. One of the highlights every time we come.
All right, cars are about to get ready to roll. And by the way, I did not know that they were serious about the sheep mowing the grass here, but they actually do that. And I was delighted to see that on Instagram stories headed into the weekend. Such a fun time. But 29 cars getting set to go racing here in just a moment's time. And you pointed out Gresham Wagner last year running for the title, lost out to Tyler Gonzalez, who's moved on from this championship. But of course, Mia Lovell is in that number 57, who will roll off in 7th place. And then Spike Kohlbecker, third in the title last year in that number 55. He rolls off in row 2. I know he wants another crack at it as well.
Yeah, he certainly does. Lucas Weisenberger, race winner from last year in P5 here at this point. He's going to be another one to keep an eye on, but there's really talent all the way down through the field here at this point. Looks like we've got a little bit of a problem down on the grid. That's the 89 of Livio Galante, fired up and ready to go. So it looks like this whole field is going to be rolling out of pit lane. And there they go. Few more beautiful sights in the world than 29 GR Cup cars making their way out ready to do a battle. As Weston Workman will be the driver to lead us to pole position for Copeland Motorsports, Gresham Wagner to his outside. Moving back into row 2, it's Jackson Bell and Spike Kohlbecker. Bell rounding out that top 3 for Copeland Motorsports. Lucas Weisenberg starts off in P5 with Max Hewitt to his outside. Then it's Mia Lovell, another Copeland Motorsports driver, and Precision Racing LA's Aiden Yoder in 8th. Adam Brickley starts 9th. Tyler Wettingel rounds out your top 10.
And starting in row 6, 11th place, Livio Galante in the number 89. Stephen Clemens returns to action in the 76, starting in 12th. Braden Arthur, 13th in the number 34 car, and Jade Evadizian starts 14th in the 24. Casey Mashore in the number 50 starts 15th place, and alongside Bennett Muldoon in the number 15. Then 17th place, Alex Garcia alongside Spencer Bucknam in the number 7 in 18th place. 19th place, it's Ford Cook in the number 21, and Devin Anderson giving GR Cup a go in the number 22.
Henry Drury lines up in 21st position, followed by Alfonso Diaz in 22nd. Matty Oust, a driver to watch out for, rest assured, starts 23rd. William Lambros, another one name familiar to SRO, 24th. Alex Hayner is 25th, and Farron Davis lines up to the outside there in 26th position. Then it's Luke Rumberg and Jason Coase in 28th. 29th and last on the field here today will be James Klimas, and that will round out our 29-car grid. Well, Kyle, we work our way down here into turn 7. Only one pace lap for these drivers. What should we be watching out for?
Well, getting through the first lap's always stage 1, right? There's not really a great passing opportunity until turn 7. That's halfway through the lap, but we start side by side. So getting single file for the first couple of corners, it's going to be a bit messy until we get there. But keep the car on the black stuff here. It's a brand new racetrack. The grip level's high, but we're getting ready to go racing here in just a moment's time.
As waving the green flag here today, Tomoyo Takahashi, the GR Racing Company president. We are so honored to have him here today, and he will be bringing these 29 GR Cup cars around to the grid. So here they go, coming out of turn 11, lining up Weston Workman, Gresham Wagner in that front row. All eyes going towards Takahashi in the flag stand here at this point as they get ready to enter into the VP acceleration zone as they're goes the green, and we are racing here in Sonoma Raceway. It's a good getaway for Workman, although it does look like there that Wagner's going to put some pressure, almost 3 wide fanning out there behind, but looks pretty neat and orderly coming up through turn 1. Turn 2, almost 4 wide. Little bit of side-by-side contact, but it looks like everybody's been able to get through.
Ooh, squeeze in the middle. That's the 14, getting squeezed 3 wide on the run up to turn 2. And I saw Aiden Yoder have a big sideways moment there as well. The Continentals maybe not fully up to pressure, moisture just yet. Now through turn 3, this is a pinch point where the track gets very narrow. Couple cars off in the background, DJ.
And that's going to be them coming back onto the circuit. They're coming over, almost clipping one of those bollards, but they're going to stay together here. No big offs to speak of outside of a little bit of running on the grass. That's the 24 that you see, Jade Avedizian. We highlighted her a little bit earlier on. Breakaway starting to form up at the front of the field here at this point, but it is an all-out free-for-all back farther in the grid.
Yeah, the car that was off there was the 7 Precision Racing LA car of Spencer Bucknam.
And it looks like here the Gresham Wagner has been able to make the move. Jackson Bell under pressure there from Lucas Weisenberg. Side by side farther back, I think that's Max Hewitt and Mia Lovell trying to duke themselves out. The 15 going way off to the outside there. That's Bennett Muldoon trying to make a good run coming down through turn 7.
Whoa. The 09, that was Matty Oust going for a big slide at the exit of turn 7A as well. Now single filing here into the high-speed S's. You got a little bit of aero to lean on in these cars, but not a ton, as we're side by side a bit deeper in the field there. Big lunge from a long ways back from the number 50. That almost came to a head down there. That's Casey Mashore in the Mashore Auto Body car.
Yeah, that bright yellow machine trying to make do of it. A lot of grass picked up there along the outside and kicking back onto the track as this mid-pack battle is fast, fearsome, and furious right now at the moment. Diving down into one of those primary braking opportunities. We're 3 wide farther back in the pack. They filtered themselves out as it looks like we've got a car off. That's the 44 of Aiden Yoder.
Yeah, off at turn 11, and it looks like he might have stalled the car as well. Didn't get the clutch in time, so there's some more pieces of debris, and there's some damage to the front bumper of that car as well. So I think it's more than just one car involved in that one, but we got to stitch the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah, we'll try to figure out exactly what that was. Big slide coming up through into turn 2 there at that point, but everybody able to keep together. Yoder's going to be able to carry back on here at this point. And we've got a car parked down into the inside. I can't get a read on that number here at the moment.
It's the Nitro Motorsports number 80. That is Tyler Wettengel, who's come to a stop there. And that's not totally off the racetrack. I'm hoping that they can pull them through that gap in the racetrack, but for the now, we're going to stay green. Just a local caution covering that as Gresham Wagner tries to sprint away.
Yeah, Gresham's going to try to sprint away ahead of Weston Workman. Wagner was able to get that move done. Spike Kohlbecker up a couple of positions here at this point. Spike now runs in 3rd place. Then it's Jackson Bell and Lucas Weisenberg. That's the battle that we follow here. Weisenberg taking over the sponsorship from Tyler Gonzalez for Gear Wrench. Meanwhile, farther back in the field, Hewitt and that is Galante going side by side, and now the 51 trying to send a move up to the inside. That's Adam Brinkley being aggressive here early.
Yeah, 15-year-old Adam Brinkley showing his stuff here inside the top 10. What a battle for him in his Copeland Motorsports ride. Galante again impressing us early. Stephen Clemens sliding up the inside. And then here comes that 50 car we pointed out earlier last time around, Casey Mashore, as the safety car is out. Double yellows for that incident down at turn number 11.
Yeah, not surprised there. We've got 2 cars stopped down to the inside, so that GR86 safety car will head out on track, and we will gather everything back up underneath them here at this point. And I've got to be thinking that obviously this is heartbreak here for the 2 drivers that are stopped down to the inside. But if you're up in that top 5, if you're Wagner, Workman, Kohlbecker, Bell, and Weisenberg, this is the last thing you wanted to see happen because you had such a great breakaway. You were going to be able to fight your own battles through the rest of this race.
Yeah, you're going to kind of give everyone a reset here and restart in a couple of moments. But, you know, Aiden Yoder, brand new partnership with Segra, new livery on the car this season. He was really excited to be back in this championship. They tried to do their best to get off track. Their cars were not driving very well, TJ, but to get them pulled back behind that concrete, they were going to need to go full course yellow to extract them. So unfortunate safety car to start this race, but we'll clean it up and turn them back loose. There's looks to be a fender liner, so there's been some coming together down there at 11 like we speculated.
And I would imagine that as a result of Wettengel's car, because Yoder we saw off to the inside there, on the outside of turn 11, and I think Wettengel had continued on. So if I had to hazard a guess, I would say that's what it's from. Probably just coming together down into that corner as the cars now work their way around right now. Again, Wagner leads from Workman, Kohlbecker, Bell, and Weisenberg. Mia Lovell doing a great job. She's up into P6 here at the moment, so she's going to be able to hold on to that ahead of Max Hewitt, Adam Brinkley, Livio Galante, and Stephen Clements here, top 10.
Yeah, Weston Workman in 2nd place. He's got plenty of experience in other championships, but he was actually one of the 3 drivers in our top 10, the other being Max Hewitt and Adam Brinkley, that were running running in the GR Cup esports race last week here at Sonoma in iRacing. So they've got some experience already coming into the weekend, just refreshing everything before they jump out on the track. And here's a look at the incident, and you see the 80 to the inside of the 44 there for a moment. So I think we'll probably get a better look at that, but definitely some contact.
Yeah, definitely some contact there. It looked like he was sent around there a little bit at a second here, and that we're going to hear get a better replay here in a moment, but at least giving us a little bit of an idea of what happened there down into the inside. Very frenetic start here for all of these drivers, it is safe to say, and that breakaway up at the front of the field, I keep talking about it, that's kind of the main thing that we've seen. But let's take a look here at exactly what happened. This is going to be up at the top of the frame here. Keep an eye. That's going to be Wettingel. Looks like he just missed the braking zone and made contact with Yoder.
Yeah, just two cars trying to occupy the same space, and before teleportation exists, I don't think that's ever going to work. So that didn't go very well, and some contact to both of those cars, and likely some suspension damage is why they couldn't pull away from that, unfortunately. So for both of those cars, it's going to be a tough start to the weekend, but that's why we have tomorrow's race as well. You requalify and you race again, so it's a good chance to pick up some points, but who knows? Maybe they can get something fixed and get back on the road and salvage something today.
And well, we'll have to see. And you bring up a good point there. This is a unique series when it comes to the SRO Motorsports Group America paddock, in that we are the only series that has 2 qualifying sessions that we send out on Saturday morning and Sunday morning to go qualify for them. So we completely reset the field, and that can completely change the characteristic of a race too, depending on how you feel. So it really and truly does build a great sense of what's going on. And when we talk about that race number 2, it makes it all the more intriguing because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, certainly not. While we're under full course yellow here, I'd like to talk about one of the drivers that's joining us for the first time in this championship. That's Henry Drury. He's got an interesting story. He was an Olympic figure skating hopeful for England before he had a really nasty back injury. He's recovered, but too old for figure skating professionally, so he switched to racing and has been incredibly impressive. He's sponsored by PT Autosport's Young Driver Program, which is promoting Alex Sedgwick and some other championships. So good to see Henry out here. He's up about 10 spots from where he started, so off to a very good start for the driver from England. So good to see.
Yeah, always good to see some young blood coming in there, and I love those stories of drivers that may not have been involved in racing from the very onset of their lives, but found it later in life. I mean, how many times have we heard that story? It's always kind of wonderful that we're able to welcome them into the motorsports family and call them one of our own after everything's said and done.
Figure skating's certainly unique, but Mia Lovell comes from a skateboarding background, which is also interesting. So, action sports adjacent, but she's having a fantastic start with her Copeland Motorsports team, up in 6th place, really liking the look of that 57 early in this race, despite only having a couple minutes of racing on the board.
Yeah, exactly. And Mia, always a great person to talk to down in the paddock. I used to joke with her a lot last year when I'd go down and do podiums and said, I'm getting bored of calling your name, because she kept winning the fastest finishing female, and she said, oh, just wait. I'm not done yet. You're going to be calling my name for more than just the fastest finishing female. So she'll get herself up into the top 3 here, I think, before this year is done, especially with that team up with Copeland Motorsports. Mia has just shown to be an absolutely immense talent in this GR Cup series.
Yeah, there's Henry Drury's number 88, CPT Autosport on the side, up to 15th at the moment, and can continue his climb as part of that Precision Racing LA team with PT Autosport. So a great start to the day for Henry Drury, and I'm sure we'll see him continue to climb. Other notables in the top 5, how about Lucas Weisenberg in that 46? You pointed out the gear wrench partnership with him this season. He took the battle to Gresham Wagner last year at VIR and was able to go on and win that race. So just lots of drivers that have switched teams or have new partners, and just lots of new liveries in the field. There's that bright orange on the gear wrench car. Fantastic looking machine. And then there's Mia Lovell in that 57. So great starts for all these drivers.
Indeed, great starts. And I've got to say, I love that livery for Mia Lovell. You want a good car? add some day glow to it. It's always going to look better. But I love what I see from Lucas Weisenberg. You know, that is really a family team. It's a one-car entry. It's Lucas putting his own way forward, and we're always going to want to support those kind of single-car entries like that, that family atmosphere in the paddock. It's really what single-make racing is all about, giving that same sense forward. So always great to see, and always a great person to chat to. Always one of my favorite folks to be able to have a conversation with down in the paddock. A really, really good young driver who's just excited about racing. He just loves what he does.
Yeah, he's always stoked. It's good to chat with him. And he had a tough end of the season last year. Remember at Sebring, he had a nasty accident in the final corner with Spike Kohlbecker, and thankfully both those cars got repaired and they completed the season, but it did put a damper on the second half of the year for both of those drivers, and they're both back inside the top 5 where we saw them last year.
Exactly, and of course Lucas, one of our victors from last year, and I believe VIR, if I remember correctly, able to take that victory and really do a fantastic job to be able to take that head. That's the number 21 on your screen right there. That's Ford Cook in the Eagles Canyon Racing, powered by Fast Track, with the sponsorship on the side. There, of course, a Grip, a Toyota story that they've put out, and we want to give credit to Toyota, the amazing behind-the-scenes filming that they did all last year to kind of give that docu-series feel to what was going on in the GR Cup Series. You and I were following it very, very eagerly. Every week you and I would text each other as they came out.
Yeah, that was a fun program to watch. It's also great to see Eagles Canyon Racing, powered by Fast Track here. You know, we talked at the top of the show about the teams that are returning, maybe with different driver lineups and partners, but there are some new teams here. You know, we talked about, of course, Eagles Canyon Racing, but of course, Tech Sport Racing jumping into this. They're not a new team to SRO, but to this championship they are. Mashore Auto Body, another new team joining us this season, as well as Bennett Motorsports with Bennett Muldoon in the Pro to Drive Auto Sport cars. So, you know, some returning, some new, and kicking off 2024 in style. But lights appear to be off on the safety car, DJ. That means we're going green next time by.
Yes, it does, and that means Gresham Wagner is going to have control of this field as they make their way down into turn 7 right now.
The safety car was drifting. That was cool. They're getting after it.
Yeah, there they go. I'll tell you what, I got a chance to ride in that safety car around Indianapolis.
If that is not the best advertisement for a GR86, that you can slide that thing around at 30 miles an hour and have fun, that's what it's all about. Just having the most fun in the most compact package. What a great showing that is. All right, pace cars off, and we're headed back to the green this time.
We are indeed. Gresham Wagner has control of the field. The restart zone a little bit different here. It can begin as soon as they exit out of turn 11, and that's exactly what Gresham does. Green flag getting ready to be flown in the air. We are back racing at Sonoma Raceway as Wagner's got about a car length and a half gap over Weston Workman. Everybody single file there behind him as we charge our way up the hill. Spike Kohlbecker a little bit farther back, but closes up under braking into turn 2.
Yeah, Weston Workman's got to keep Wagner tight. Wagner's a little hot through turn 2. Here comes Workman to the inside. Is he going to go side by side? He thinks not. He'll stay tucked in line into turn 3.
He will, but he'll be able to keep the pressure to him, and that checkup allowed for Spike Kohlbecker to close back in on him as well. So that looks like it's a pretty close battle. Jackson Bell holding off a little bit of pressure from Lucas Weisenberg as they plunge down through turn 4 right now. And it looks like Wagner's got a little bit of an advantage, but it's definitely going to be Weisenberg on the back there of Bell and Kohlbecker on the back of Workman.
And Mia Lovell watching all that out the front windshield. The top 5 about to do battle. And Weisenberg sizing up Jackson Bell. All 5 of these drivers, well, again, take Workman out of that, but the rest of the top 6 were all battling up at the front last season, and Workman's really the unknown value here. New to the championship, but certainly has the pace to be in this mix. So what is he going to do, and does he have the pace to beat Wagner?
Well, I think Weston actually did make an appearance or 2 with us last year, so he's not completely new, but didn't run a full season necessarily, as now the field makes their way down through the S's. Again, a big gap being built up between Mia Lovell and the rest of the field, so that top 6 getting a little bit of a breakaway here at this point as those cars pitch forward down to the braking zone for turn 7, kicking up a little bit of dirt. They're pushing the limits.
They are pushing the limits, and maybe too far. There was a talk about turn 9, cutting the corner. That was a topic in practice yesterday and in qualifying this morning. Race control will call you out on that if you don't keep a tire touching at least the rumble strip down there. Don't draw a penalty if you're up here at the front. It's not worth it.
No, you certainly do not want to. Gresham Wagner starting to push away here at this point, trying to see what they're able to do. Getting a message here from race control that the incident between 44 and 80. That's Yoder and Wettingel. That will be reviewed post-race. As here we complete our first lap in anger around Sonoma Raceway. About 30 minutes left on the clock. Plenty of time for action to happen. Contact coming down the main straightaway, it looked like there.
Yeah, and there's Mashore and the bright yellow car. Easy to spot that one from a distance, the Mashore auto body machine. And he is setting chase to the car just ahead of him, which is the number 89 from Eagles Canyon Racing, powered by Fast Track. That's Livio Galanti. She's also had a pretty good start to this. Big dive and a block down into turn 4. That got aggressive there between those two.
Yeah, that got very aggressive indeed. As there, you can see that battle starting to play out a little bit. Stephen Clements loving to see that battle take place, as it allows him to kind of get off into the distance a little bit. Here's a battle right now starting to brew. That's the number 39 of Max Hewitt and Adam Brickley as they come down out of the carousel. Close battle. Here it comes. Brickley's got some good speed in that Copeland Motorsports number 51. He's going to move down to the inside. That's the preferred braking zone. So much later and smoother on the brakes as Brickley. He made that look easy.
That was a nicely done pass. Moves him into 7th place. Past the 39 of Max Hewitt and Stephen Clemens in the Indava GR86, sitting right in the rear view of that 39 car.
Yeah, and he's going to put some pressure onto the back now at this point as they fly their way through turn 8, and the S is getting ready for the all-important turn number 7. As there the cars streak on by the camera. Here comes that 34 machine trying to see what they're able to get done. Oh, into the grass they go. Contact bumping and banging and bumping off into the outside.
Yeah, that's going to shove the 50 Mashore auto body car off course there. But stuck in the middle of all that was the JMF Motorsports number 34, Braden Arthur. It's good to see JMF Motorsports making a foray into this championship. Little battle here. Henry Drury past that 34 car into turn 11.
Yeah, nice move from Drury. Very decisive down to the inside, sure on the brakes as they made that work. As we've seen here a lot of times, we see some very spicy battles in this mid-pack. As they come across the line right now, that revised order is Garcia, Avedizian, Drury, Arthur, Bucknam in that order. A little bit of side-by-side here. This is Jackson Bell and Lucas Weisenberg.
Yeah, Jackson Bell on defense there, but sometimes your best defense is a good offense, and that's what Weisenberg's doing right now. Late on the brakes into turn 4. Does Jackson leave him room just enough? And he'll have to try that one again later.
Yeah, he will, but crucially here, this is allowing for Mia Lovell to keep up involved in this battle, and it could be allowing for Adam Brickley to close on in.
Yeah, Gresham Wagner was charging the downhill there in turn 6. That thing was hung out halfway sideways ahead of Weston Workman. You can hear the tires in the background screaming as they work their way through the carousel. The track falls away from you there, so you don't have as much load on the front tires as you'd like to put. And again, well, trouble.
That's the number 31, the RVA Graphics Motorsport by Speed Syndicate of Luke Rumberg. I believe that's on the exit there of turn 4. Luke's going to be able to get that car refired and back out onto the track, so no harm, no foul in terms of a yellow, but he is certainly going to be falling down through the order.
And it'll cost him some time here as we make our way towards the halfway point of this race. Weisenberg continues to pressure Jackson Bell, this time into turn 9. There's that chicane we were talking about a couple of laps ago. I think Weisenberg might have a bit of pace on Jackson Bell, but you have to find a place to pass, and it's usually 7 or 11. As we've seen, it doesn't work so well elsewhere.
No, it certainly doesn't, but let's see what Weisenberg does going down into turn 11. He's going to stay in line. Bell turns in a little bit earlier. Meanwhile, Weisenberg looked like he rolled a little bit more speed at the mid-corner, so he could be able to get a little bit of a good run here coming up the hill. The gap is about a single car length, call it less than a car length, as they cross over the start-finish stripe. Weisenberg going to be trying to look for it here at this point, but again, sideways there for Bell, but the door is not open for Weisenberg.
I love these drivers pushing it to the limit in some of these faster turns. The rear end stepping out as they're heading up the hill. And then into turn 3, Jackson Bell, big counter steer correction. He is pushing the limits of that Brownability number 99 at the moment. And Weisenberg can see that. And it's like smelling blood in the water for a shark. He's right there on the rear bumper of that 99.
Yeah, he's right there. He knows where it is. He knows where it's pushing. We also are getting the notification here that a incident between car 31 and 15, that's Bennett Muldoon, and the 31 of Luke Rumberg. I'm assuming that's what put Rumberg out.
Sorry, TJ. Sideways, big time for the 99. That was about halfway around the corner that he had that thing hung out, and it's a drag race to turn 7.
And I think it's going to be advantage Weisenberg here at this point, but the problem is that it's going to be Jackson Bell down on the inside line. Can Lucas roll the speed? No, he cannot. Looks for the crossover, and he's not going to be able to do it. Good defensive driving there by Jackson Bell to be able to hold that together.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job. I think if he does the carousel like that every lap, though, it's going to overheat that right rear tire. He just had it counter-steered. He was turning right to go left. I learned that from a movie one day. But down to turn 9, the 99 continues to hold that spot. So as long as he's able to stay in front for most of the lap, if he can defend here and at 7 and at 11, he'll be all right for now.
Yes, he will. Both of them taking full access of the curbs going down out of turn 9, turn 9 right now. And here, wow, Jackson Bell very defensive, forcing Weisenberg to go around the outside here at this point. Weisenberg again looking for that crossover. Bell parking the car at the apex, not letting him on by.
Yeah, Weisenberg's got to be running out of patience here, though. 24 minutes to go. It might sound like a lot, but it feels like a short amount of time if you're leading this battle. It's just the battle continues here heading into turn 1 and 2, and where do you get desperate? I mean, how long will you sit back here and try different things and not make this pass, DJ, or do you just have to be patient and wait for an opportunity? Heading up to turn 3 now, the 99 continues to hold back Lucas Weisenberg, but patience can be a virtue here at Sonoma, especially when it's so challenging to make passes here. A little bit further in deeper in the field, Spencer Bucknam, and then, of course, that 34 JMF Motorsport car, Braden Arthur. This is a battle dropping tires in the dirt. Henry Drury, and then here comes Casey Mashore down the inside to steal a spot from the 88.
You know, Mashore is one of those rookies that we talked about earlier in the broadcast. I'm impressed here from what I'm seeing from Mashore. Really, really great racecraft here between the two of them. Now, of course, we say that here at this point, and it looks like that he is going to be doing that. By the way, a drive-through penalty here for Bennett Muldoon for contact there with Luke Rumberg.
That's unfortunate, but that'll cost him. Here comes Weisenberg up the inside at turn 7. This is an opportunity he cannot let go. Door to door as they head into the S's. You can't do this at Sonoma. Can they side by side through the high-speed section?
And it looks like Jackson Bell's barely going to have the advantage here, but is that going to be Weisenberg able to carry more speed? It doesn't look like Bell's going to defend the inside line, and Lucas decides not to go with it as well, but they've got to be very, very careful here. They've got two Copeland Motorsports machines in the form of Mia Lovell and Adam Brickley coming up behind them quicker rather than anything else, so they need to get a move on and sort this battle out.
Yeah, Jackson Bell again goes defensive. Here comes Weisenberg up the outside at 11, not trying to pass out here, but trying to get a late arc onto the front straightaway to throttle up and drive by him into turns 1 or 2. It hasn't worked the last couple of times, but he's going to try it again, ripping through the gears on that Sadev 6-speed.
Yeah, he is really pushing it here at this point, but this is the closest that we've seen for Lucas Weisenberg. Is he going to try to make a move? There's Lovell. There is Brickley that we talked about a little bit earlier. That Copeland Motorsports contingent continues to push their way ahead. Lucas Weisenberg trying to make that run up through turn 2. Doesn't quite look like he's got it, but he is full pressure mode.
He's so close to the rear bumper of that car ahead of him, Jackson Bell. What a battle. Then the teammates behind. You mentioned Mia Lovell. Here comes Weisenberg now. Overlap on Jackson Bell. Late on the brakes into turn 4. Little contact, but he is through. Weisenberg takes the spot.
And that is sheer tenacity. That is absolutely Weisenberg putting it all on the line and just recognizing where he had that advantage. And I would not be surprised if we see that number 46 start to scamper off into the distance as we get official confirmation from that drive-through penalty for the number 15.
Yeah, it's going to be a costly one there for Bennett Muldoon. Again, can't get yourself caught up in incidents. It will hurt your championship hopes for sure. But now with Weisenberg clear of Bell, Bell is now falling into the clutches of Mia Lovell and Adam Brickley, the two Copeland Motorsports cars at the tail end of the top 5 here. So this is about to get very intriguing for this position.
Well, and I mean, not even them, just them. Max Hewitt and Stephen Clements not too far behind them either. So I think here for Lucas Weisenberg, he wants to put the pedal to the metal and scamper as quickly as he can. Maybe try to close up at the back here of Spike Kohlbecker and get himself into position for a podium. He's still got 20 minutes left to go. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, you got to light the afterburners and get out of here, though, because you saw at the exit of 9 using all the racetrack and then 2 or 3 inches of the grass as well. Jackson Bell keeping the pressure back on Weisenberg. This battle is not over yet by any means.
No, it's certainly not. And credit there to Jackson Bell for being able to bring that battle back in. I really thought that Weisenberg was going to be able to move ahead into the distance, but that is not the case. Jackson's got the fire lit under him here at this point, but there is a train of cars starting to form behind them all the way back to the 76 of Stephen Clements in 9th.
Yeah, what a great fight. We were being treated to some excellent racing right at the beginning of the 2024 season through turn 2. there's Max Hewitt at the back of the shot there, and just behind that is Stephen Clemens, who showed flashes of greatness last year as well, has Zendava on board this season. All exciting for them, but Weisenberg, Bell, and Mia Lovell continue to run in 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah, they run their way down through right now. As we take a look in at your leader, Gresham Wagner. Gresham's built up about a 2.6 second gap over Weston Workman here at this point. Workman is about 0.8 of a second away. You can actually see him in the back of your shot there. That is Weston Workman and Spike Kohlbecker. That's the battle for P2. Kohlbecker kind of laying back in the weeds here at this point. He hasn't looked like he wants to attack all that much, and that to me says that he is waiting to put pressure on Weston Workman until the end of this race, maybe saving those Continental tires for the end.
And what it seems like to me is these cars are skating around just a bit on this new surface. We just saw Weston Workman correcting through turn 7. You know, the other cars that we've seen today haven't really done that, but this well-balanced 50-50 weight distribution sports car is all about balancing on the rear of the car. And Weston Workman might be overdoing that just a touch, and that's why Spike is closing in lap after lap. And we might have a battle for second before too long.
Yeah, we certainly could, and I want to give Spike some credit there, really attacking the curbs and the grass coming through turn 7, or turn 9 rather, very, very aggressive, pushing that ahead there, and it's showing in those lap times. As we take a look back here at that battle for P4, Weisenberg pulling ahead here of Jackson Bell, and now it looks like Weston Workman starting to pull ahead here a little bit of Spike Kohlbecker.
Yeah, the lap time was quicker in Kohlbecker's favor, but at least out of turn 11, Weston was able to put some distance on it, but it appears again to ebb and flow as this lap goes on, especially because all 3 sectors of this track are pretty different in how you make speed. So we're going to see these drivers kind of close this gap and stretch it out for the rest of the race.
Yeah, that's what it's going to continue to do in the final 19 or so minutes that are left in this race. There's the 55 of Kohlbecker trying to close in behind Workman. Workman gets a little bit of a gap going down into the carousel of turn 6 right now. Ooh. There's a little bit of a narrow approach there, though, for Workman, and that car looked a little bit out of control onto the brakes.
Yeah, that carousel's a bit of a strange corner because the grip is right against the inside edge of the track. If you drift out a bit, it feels like the camber of the track falls away a touch, so entering real shallow might look dimensionally wrong, but it actually might be an okay line, and we see it kind of worked for him that time through. So you have to be conscious you don't carry too much speed and kind of fall out of the groove, but it worked okay that time around.
Yeah, it certainly did, and he's going to be able to hold on to it here at this point. Workman just keeping a nice little gap, call that about 4 or 5 car lengths as they continue to run, about 0.5 of a second, but they're so much better on the binders as Spike Kohlbecker just able to close that gap down going into turn 9A.
And the confidence he has in that as well. Ran a full season with us last year and was fighting for a championship, ended up in 3rd, won a couple of races. He was in the mix almost every single round, and it looks like he'll be the same force again. Here's a bit of a fight down the order. There's the 25 car battling. This is for 20th, Alfonso Diaz and Alex Hayner, who comes from a photography background. This is an exciting round for her in this Precision Racing LA car to jump behind the wheel of a race car and do battle here in Toyota GR Cup North America.
And she is unveiling herself very well, running up in 21st here at this point and putting pressure to the back right now of these machines in front, especially in that number 25 of Alfonso Diaz running for Tech Sport Racing. As we watch Alex right now trying to see if there's maybe a little bit of a look down into the inside, not able to get it there. The 11 in front, that's Farron Davis, a veteran of the series, who brushes the wall on the exit of the corner.
And that's not a fun wall to hit. That's concrete. That'll damage the left side of the car. Just scrape the paint off the side of that number 11, though. But you don't want to do that. Actually, it did kind of dent the side in there on the left side. So let's not do that again. I'll bet he'll agree with me that that wasn't any fun. So up into turn 2. Alex Hayner, that Precision Racing LA car, chasing the 25 of Alfonso Diaz, and just behind them is the 21 of Ford Cook.
Oh, and try to take a little bit of a look there going into turn 3 was Alex Hayner. I love what I'm seeing there out of that. Let's check back in on the battle here for P6. Neil Lovell, Adam Brickley, Max Hewitt, Stephen Clements. These are the 4 drivers that we had kind of focused in on a little bit earlier. It does look like Lucas Weisenberg is starting to pull away a little bit. Jackson Bell kind of getting a little bit of an advantage as well, but Lovell maybe the cork in the bottle here at this point, holding a couple of these drivers back.
Yeah, the 39 and the 76 have different paint schemes, but this is actually two pairs of teammates. Copeland cars here in 6th and 7th, and 8th and 9th are both BSI racing cars. So two sets of teammates, and I bet the mission is kind of beat the other team. So maybe a little bit of competition here in the last couple minutes of this race.
Yeah, maybe a little bit indeed, but it looks like right now that Brickley not able to be close enough to Lovell to get that pass. But Lovell, she is so calm, cool, and collected whenever she drives. I was so impressed with her last year and the ability of hers to withstand pressure. If we think back to VIR, for example, it was absolutely that were battling, if I remember correctly. Just the two of them going at it the entire race, and Mia just withstood the pressure the entire time and was able to walk away with the awards at the end of the day. That is one of her greatest strengths as a driver.
Absolutely. I'm extremely excited to see what she can do in the championship, and this has got to be a great confidence booster. She had some really great events, but I think this is her best run she's ever had, DJ, and to kick off 2024 with a top 10 and just outside of the top 5, that has to be thrilling for her and for Adam Brickley. Again, 15 years old. I can't get over that. I'm 25. I feel young here, but this is insane. And then you've got, of course, Max Hewitt just behind and Stephen Clemens that are about to make this even more exciting at the end.
I am 33, and you feel old?
Look, 15 years old. I mean, is that high school? I don't even remember.
That's high school.
Yeah, okay.
But nevertheless, it is remarkable here that Brickley is able to do this and really put everything together here to put a great weekend together as a rookie, first time jumping into the series. So you saw Stephen Clemens taking a little bit of a look on the back of his teammate. Brickley kind of doing the same thing, just thinking about where to maybe position that car, because that's where this comes down to, is the race is settled in here at this point. This stage of the race, it's about learning what the driver in front of you is doing, figuring out where they're vulnerable, and then planning the moment to make the attack.
Well, especially between those Copeland Motorsports cars, they might be squaring up and trying to get past their other Copeland Motorsports teammate, Jackson Bell. That's a carrot dangling a top 5 right in front of them there. So there is a mission to be accomplished here, and while it's nice to have all your teammates up in the top 5, Jackson Bell might have to fend off an attack from Mia Lovell or Adam Brickley in the last 14 minutes or so.
Yeah, he certainly might. But remember, that's 3 teammates in a row, as Jackson Bell is now a part of that Copeland Motorsport team as well. Now, granted, this isn't like some other series that you may come across where there is a teams or a constructors championship, as it were, because Toyota wins.
Right.
In multiple ways, Toyota wins. And so they're going to be able to keep on doing that. But let's keep in on the battle for P2 here at the moment. This is Weston Workman and Spike Kohlbecker. Now, remember the theory that we posited a little bit before, that Kohlbecker may have been holding back a little bit, may have been holding onto the tires, but I do want to give credit here. Lucas Weisenberg just set the CrowdStrike fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, they've got to keep our eye on him as well. I mean, he's out of the conversation probably for a podium, but if those second and third place drivers, Workman and Kohlbecker, get spicy, could see that battle happen. A little bit deeper in the field, there's the 34, then there's, of course, Henry Drury and that number 88 we talked about earlier, battle for 16th. Arthur Drury, and there's Anderson in the 22.
Yeah, and that's him trying to close on in there. And Devin Anderson, a very experienced driver. We had the chance to speak to him yesterday, and he's got kind of a unique perspective coming in on this, because he, and as part of his Tech Sport Racing stable, have actually run a... You'd be better to know the exact terminology on this, but a previous iteration is there comes a look for Drury coming down to the inside on Arthur into turn 7, forces Arthur offline.
Ooh, that's tight.
Oh, that was pretty.
That was cool. And here comes Devin Anderson. And yeah, you were talking about running, previous generation, previous model of this car in another championship. And yeah, the chassis has a lot of similarities, but it is a very different car at its core. So he was excited to give it a go and was just so impressed by the performance of it in the testing sessions he did beforehand. And exciting to see Deb Papalizio, the team owner for Tech Sport Racing on that side of the house, also be very excited about running cars here. So very cool to see the 22 up in the mix.
Yeah, very excited to see that is here. He's actually going to take a look on the back of Arthur going down into turn 11. Not able to get it done, but a little bit of a how you doing there.
That's a ring on the doorbell right there.
Yes,
all that is. I'm here. Got a package for you. And up onto the front straightaway, 11 minutes and 20 seconds to go. And this is a pretty fierce fight for 16th place. That's what I love about this series. You got to battle for second, you got to battle for sixth, battle for 16th. Find me a spot, I'll show you a race.
Exactly, and that's what single make racing like this does to the absolute perfection. Drury now able to lead over Braden Arthur, getting that move again. Brilliant move done down into turn number 7.
I always have to giggle because every time I look at a battle, I see all the wing mirrors folded in because they are getting so close. They're folding in each other's mirrors. So I hope you don't need those for the rest of the race because that's something we see a lot. It's just so much fun. That's the proximity we're racing in here.
Yeah, as we check back in on the battle right now, Weston Workman, Spike Kohlbecker, this is the battle for P2, as this is Workman doing a very good job of keeping Kohlbecker at bay, but I think this is go time now for Spike. He's brought that gap down here a little bit. When they crossed the line last time, it was 0.6 of a second. Spike has got it down to under a car length here as they come out of turn 9A.
Yeah, looking nice and tidy there, and he took a weave at him into turn 9 just to get out of the mirror and perhaps be a sort of distraction to Weston Workman. They can wave goodbye to Gresham Wagner unless he makes a mistake. The goal is to battle for second here. And maybe if Spike gets by Weston, he can close in on Gresham Wagner. Remember, they were teammates last year and battled a number of times.
Yes, they did indeed here. As we also take a look back farther in the field, this is that battle. Mia Lovell, Adam Brickley, Max Hewitt, Stephen Clements, all 4 of them on top of each other battling for P6. Jackson Bell looks like he's found his pace, and he's able to keep a gap here of, let's call it about a second ahead of Mia Lovell.
Yeah, kicked it into gear and lit the afterburners and is gone, but has left the Copeland Motorsports teammates he's got still fighting for 6th position. And then Max Hewitt just lurking in the background, same with Stephen Clemens. That Endava car looks the part as well. Brand new livery for that partner in program this season. All very exciting, I'm sure, for that BSI Racing camp.
Although I do miss the pink. I loved that pink last year on
car.
Stephen's car.
Yeah.
It really did pop. A little bit of a look there behind for Max Hewitt. Thinking about a move on Adam Brickley coming down into turn 4. Not going to play out. I think that was a little bit more of what you were mentioning earlier, Kyle, of just those moments to fill the mirrors, see if you can maybe force an error out of that driver in front of you.
Yeah, basically the car in front, you're just trying to get them to look up in the rear view because anytime they're doing that, they're not looking out the windshield. So if you can pull out a line, just distract them for a moment, sneak up the inside and steal the spot. It's a clever tactic. I'm not sure how often it works, but it makes you feel better to try it.
Yeah, it certainly does. Right now, Brickley doesn't look like he's putting that kind of pressure on the back of Mia Lovell. Instead, he is just driving his heart out and trying to see if he can close down on that number 57 in front of him here at this point.
I'm going to put you in the shoes of the Copeland Motorsports team boss right now. When do you tell him to go for it?
I would say at this point it is all rules. There are no rules. Go for it. Well, there's always the one rule, which is don't run into your teammate.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
But no holds barred. Battle it out here at this point. This is the first race of the season. You're not worried about the championship. You're not worried about anything, combinations and permutations of points. I think to say hold position or to say do not fight here at this point would be a disservice to these young drivers. Keep it open. Now, if we get farther on into the championship and we get down to, say, Barber or Indianapolis, and we're starting to run into those combinations and permutations where we need to get those championship points to be able to maximize, that's when you may start to institute team orders, but not this early on in the season.
There's Farron Davis in the number 11, and, this is down in 21st place. Matty Oust, another one of the drivers repping Indava this season. And we talked at the top of the show that we should keep our eye on her, and DJ, that was because of her performance in another SRO championship last year. She was extremely impressive on the touring car side, and jumping over to GR Cup North America this season, the expectations are high. And it's been a little bit of a slow start, but here she is in 22nd. She qualified at the tail. This is a great first race for her in this car, learning things all over again.
Exactly. It's a building effort here because every single time you go out on the track and every single time you run this car in anger, you're going to be filling up that notebook. And remember, she came out in the first race that we really saw her and took notice of her was Circuit of the Americas last year when she put on an absolutely incredible display. She's got that killer instinct. She's got that ability to fight. I think it's just a matter of time before before she really starts to rocket ahead.
Yeah, we'll absolutely have to keep that in mind. There's the other Endava car, the 76 of Stephen Clemens, and then back to this battle between Copeland Motorsports teammates Mia Lovell and Adam Brickley, once again navigating the turn 9 and 9A chicane with just over 6 minutes to go. These four cars, Copeland Motorsports and BSI Racing, they are still on top of each other, and BSI is actually missing one of their drivers that we'll see in other rounds this season, and that is Jordan Rick Segrini, who was a phenom at Sebring last season and had a good run at, I believe it was Nashville as well. So they've got another car added to the stable, hopefully a bit later this year. So we'll keep our eye out for that as well.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eye out for that, as there will inevitably be some changing and shuffling of drivers across this entire series over the course of the year. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to go here. That's going to equate down to about 3 laps, I would imagine, for our drivers, maybe 4, as they try to work their way around here at this point. And there they try to go right now. Oh, Brickley starting to get a little bit aggressive on the back of Mia Lovell. I think he heard me say there's 5 minutes left.
Yeah, the clock is ticking down, and you're starting to run out of laps here. About 1 minute and 52 seconds around here, give or take a couple of seconds. So you're running out of opportunities. Adam Brickley would like to move up 1 spot. These drivers are both outside of the top 5, but who wants to be right on the edge of that? And Lovell a little wide here through the carousel. Brickley closes up, and as they leave those BSI cars a couple car lengths back, game on.
Yeah, game on here, but I think Mia actually did a really good job there. She shut the door on the exit of turn 6, and that kind of prevented Adam from getting a full run there. And so that kind of put him back a little bit and that put him onto the back foot. Now, the flip of that here is Max Hewitt sort of did a similar thing here to Stephen Clemens, but Clemens looked like he really closed down going through turn 7, as opposed to Adam that had to back off a little bit.
And the other thing is the intensity picks up, especially if you're Mia Lovell. You've got 3 drivers right behind you. This is the difference between finishing 6th and finishing 9th, and that emotionally feels very different, right? So the pressure is building, but you can't let it get to your head and make a mistake and lose these spots that you worked so hard to pick up.
No, a nervous driver, a anxious driver, an adrenaline-filled driver is a bad driver. It takes a 1 in a million type of driver to be able to drive angry well. The majority don't do it. Get all of those emotions out of your system. It's what I always say: calm, cool, collected.
And she's been doing a great job of that so far. It's been busy in the rear view for her this entire race with just 4 minutes to go, though. How about these BSI teammates? I wonder if Clemens has got anything for Max Hewitt here in the final couple of moments of this one.
Well, we'll have to see. A little bit more aggressive there with the curbing coming up and over turn 2. Going to try to push a little bit more, but again, this first sector of the Sonoma Raceway, not the easiest to make passes on. Even in these lower horsepower cars, it's very, very difficult to try to get side by side up through this flowing elevation change portion of the track.
It just feels like a roller coaster. You're just gripping the rails and hoping to stay on the track through there, and then you get down to 6 and 7, and you can start to experiment with different lines. But really, from turn 2 to turn 4, you don't have a lot of choices as to where you can put the car and at least have grip to stay on the road. So you get to the backside of the racetrack, things widen out a bit. The racing lines give you some opportunity, but otherwise, you got to kind of stay on the road and stay in line.
Yeah, looked like a little bit of a look down to the inside there, but look at that. Mia Lovell just absolutely nailing that corner. We've got a little bit of action here. This is the battle for P2. Workman, Kohlbecker, game on.
Well, I said ring the doorbell. He knocked into it that time. Door knocker to the rear bumper of the 13. Game on between these two. Workman and Kohlbecker battle for second place. And we know the championship is going to be hard fought. It will likely matter every single race where you finish. And with Workman, Wagner, and Kohlbecker, probably some of the championship favorites, you need to maximize every opportunity. Kohlbecker knew this from last year. Get this 13 because it might matter come Indianapolis.
2 laps to go here for these drivers as they cross over the line. Gresham Wagner about 4.5 seconds up the road in a league unto himself here at this point. So right now it is down to Spike Kohlbecker if he is going to finish second or if he is going to finish third. We saw him carrying some mega speed down into turn 9A. Whoa! Big slide there for Weston Workman.
He's working out that 13, I'll tell you that. Again, leaning on the rear tires through turn 3, and this has been something we've seen all day long, is in some of these high compression corners, the cars are sliding around a bit. This is the car that lets the driver do the talking. They can get behind that wheel, they can get up on it and drift this car around, slide it and find speed in unorthodox places. But Spike Kohlbecker is right there, 2 car lengths back with a lap and a half left to go.
Yeah, here he's going to try to go, but Kohlbecker didn't get the run that he wanted to coming down out of the carousel. It's going to put him on the back foot. A little bit of side-by-side farther back in the field. This is going to be for 11th and 12th right now as they try to sort themselves out. That's the 12 there and the 14 of Alex Garcia.
Yeah, Jade Avedizian, I think, in the 24 was the one that kind of got shuffled out of the road there just a touch. She's done a nice job of that Nitro Motorsports car, but through comes the 50 of Casey Mashore to the inside to steal that spot away. So a little shifting and shuffling here with 2 to go.
Yeah, a little bit left to do here at this point. That's the number 7 there of Spencer Bucknam, another name that's familiar to a lot of us here at this point. Going to try to work his way forward. There's that 24 machine, Jade Avedizian, thinking about down into the inside. They're not going to play out. And look at this, the number 7 trying to make a run around the outside, but gets into some of the dirt, kicking out the rear tires. That one's not going to play out.
Yeah, had he not hit the dirt, he might have been able to hold on to that and push through into position up into 11th spot, but not quite. Here we go, DJ, the white flag, 1 lap to go here.
1 lap to go for Gresham Wagner. The lead here pretty large at about 5 seconds. It's 4.2 to be exact as they're going to come across the line here at this point. Battle still on for P2, although it does look like Weston Workman had it under control. But once again, Spike Kohlbecker so good on the binders in this opening section.
Yeah, car length and a half, 2 car lengths. All you need to be is within striking distance at turn 7 or turn 11, and that 55 is going to go for it. Don't leave the door open if you're Weston Workman, because Spike Kohlbecker is close enough to have a look at it.
Yes, he is, and that may be a little bit of an offline run for Weston Workman coming down out of turn 4, but he's going to be able to keep it to play here. Remember, Kohlbecker looked really good coming down through the carousel on the last couple of laps. He's going to dive the car in deep, both of them squirming under braking as they try to get back under power. Workman takes that traditional narrow line. Kohlbecker tried to run a little bit more of a diamond line. I don't think it worked out for him.
I don't think so either, but we've still got half a lap left to go. That's a lot of time here. There have been another 5 or 6 corners for Spike Kohlbecker to find something in that Ackerman Toyota blue and red car. Weston Workman trying to get on podium here in his first race of the 2024 season as we head through the S's for the final time.
And through the S's for the final time. It's now or never time. But look at this. Kohlbecker's got a little bit of a run. He may think about it as we watch Gresham Wagner make the move down in there. Contact between the two. A big knock on the door there for Spike Kohlbecker. But Workman stays ahead.
Yeah, Workman didn't flinch there at all. He took the shot to the rear bumper, kept the car straight. Is it going to be enough, though? It's going to be a run down to turn 11. Kohlbecker going to try to send it from a long ways back. He won't do it on entry. Skids the car to the braking zone in turn 11. But DJ, it's going to be a run to the line.
It's going to be a run to the line, but of all of that is no concern to your winner in race 1. Gresham Wagner switches teams to Copeland Motorsports and takes victory. Weston Workman holds on to P2, locking down a Copeland Motorsports 1-2, and Spike Kohlbecker holds on to P3. How is this battle going to fan itself out, though, Kyle?
Jackson Bell will grab 5th, but Mia Lovell will hang on to 6th place. How about that for her Copeland Motorsports debut in the number 57 car? Adam Brickley, the 15-year-old, 7th place in his first race. Max Hewitt, then Stephen Clemens and Livio Galanti, the rest of your top 10.
Yeah, they're going to work their way on down through the order here at this point. Alex Garcia will be able to hold off Casey Mashore. Then Jane Avedizian able to bag a 13th on debut. That has got to feel very good. Spencer Bucknam 14th. Henry Drury comes across the line, barely holding off Braden Arthur.
Yeah, great run there for Henry Drury and Braden Arthur, both in their first races of this title as well. Neither had run this last season. Devin Anderson, 17th place. And a couple of drivers still yet to come back around to the stripe. Here comes William Lambros in the number 77. Then Alex Hayner, a top 20 in her first showing. Ford Cook in the Eagles Canyon Racing car finishes 20th. Contact, final corner.
That's the number 25 of Alfonso Diaz making heavy contact with that outside retaining wall on the exit of turn 11.
Oh, it's broken too. That left rear tire is not doing well. And that car was skedaddling across the surface there at the checkered flag. That did not look great.
No, it certainly did not here at this point. But Gresham Wagner, 2nd place last year, up to P1 this year, able to take victory. This is exactly how he wanted to start his season.
Yeah, this is a warning shot to everybody because last year he was up in the mix consistently. He's switched teams now, and the success continues in the number 5 car. So you're looking at Weston Workman, Kohlbecker, Weisenberg, and the others we documented, but they're all going to have to catch Gresham Wagner, and that chase begins now.
Yeah, it certainly does. Wagner has put down the marker here at this point. as has Copeland Motorsports. I mean, look at that top 5. 3 of the top 5 here, and then 5 of the top 10. That is dominance.
Well, they have just stacked the deck as far as their driver selection goes, but the team has been successful in the past. And like I said, great run by BSI Racing. They've had a good race as well, but let's have a look at our race results and run you down the order once again here, DJ.
As we said, Gresham Wagner able to take that victory over Weston Workman, who was able to hold off Spike Kolbecker. Looking down through the rest of the order, Lucas Weisenberg in a good battle with Jackson Bell, able to space themselves out. Mia Lovell withstanding that pressure wonderfully once again. Stephen Clements, Livio Galante, great debut here for Livio with the top 10.
Yeah, fantastic run. And then Alex Garcia, 11th place. Good return for him to the championship. Casey Mashore in the number 50 finishes 12th. Jade Avedizian had a great race, 13th place in her debut. Then Spencer Bucknam and Henry Drury wrap up the top 15. Then Braden Arthur, Devin Anderson, William Lambros, Alex Hayner, and Ford Cook, the rest of the top 20.
Maddie Alice, 21st. Good rise up through the field after she qualified a little bit off the pace. Farron Davis, Alfonso Diaz with that contact that we saw at the end. Jason Kos and Bennett Muldoon round out your 25 finishing drivers here from today. But it is all Gresham Wagner up at the top. A 3.2 second advantage. We saw that grow upwards to about 4.8 seconds earlier on. And like we said, you know, Tyler Gonzalez last time really set everything down. This time, it looks like it is Gresham that is putting down the bar here at this point. Is there? We've got a live look at Gresham down in pit lane, taking everything in here at the moment. Taking this victory, taking this win. This is a big moment for Gresham. He is a very solid single-make driver. He knows what he's doing, and to be able to take this opening victory in the 2024 season is going to feel fantastic for him. Switching teams and appearing that he has made the right call this year. Getting a big old congratulations from the assorted fans there at the moment. Comes down on and out and gets a big hug from the Copeland Motorsports team here as they go. Waiting for Gresham to start taking everything off here before we go on down as he gets ready to be able to see how it is. Absolutely incredible. And we get ready to throw down to Amanda Busick, who's caught up with your winner.
Well, Gresham, we saw the way that you exited this Toyota GR car and the excitement of joining in the new team with Copeland Motorsports. We're going to have the Continental Cuff go around your neck as well. And Gresham, with the switch, but also just kicking off race 1 with the win, I know you're hunting for a championship. What did you learn today that you can apply tomorrow, considering the gap to 2?
Well, first of all, I just wish a happy birthday to my friend Miranda back home. But yeah, this was the first year, you know, really. In SRO with a new team. I've been with Tech Sport for the last 2 years. So obviously Copeland had control of the series last year with Tyler, and you know, he's moved on, and I guess I finished second in the championship, so this was my year to really take the next step, and you know, Copeland's ready to give me the tools to do that. So I was just super happy to have the opportunity to come back for a second year in the series with them, and you know, I think this will be the start of many more wins, and you know, I've got good teammates to give me a run for it, but I think we'll always be in the hunt.
Knowing what this car is capable, considering Tyler Gonzalez comes out of this outfit, does that heavy expectations on your shoulders?
For sure. I mean, because at the end of the day, you're vice champion last year, and then you get into that championship winning car, so that's kind of all you have to do, right? If you don't win, then what are you doing? So I'm looking forward to the challenge, though.
Congratulations to Grissom, and we'll talk to a few other people here in Winner's Circle. Mia Lavelle rolled up into Winner's Circle with her team around her, and as you look back on the race that was, expectations on your season, Mia?
I just want to keep going from where we started today. Today was a really strong race at Sonoma Raceway with Copeland. We all had a really good first race, and I'm super psyched to start the season on that.
Congratulations, Mia. As we head over to Weston, I know that you had a great race as well. There were some battles that were happening on track. Race 1 in the books. What were the learning lessons?
Definitely just to keep up with Gresham. I mean, I don't think anybody had anything for him today, but it was really cool to see Copeland Motorsports 1-2 in my JBL Toyota GR86.
Who's going to be your biggest threat this season?
I'd say Gresham for sure. Yeah, my teammate, yeah, he's super fast. I got to figure out where I can gain on him.
We'll see you tomorrow, Weston.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. And there's Weston Workman finishing second in his series debut, at least in 2024, behind teammate Gresham Wagner. What a battle. This was a fun one to watch. Here's a look at the highlights from race 1 for Toyota GR Cup North America. Kicked off with a pretty frantic start as we'll get a look at that in just a moment. There's the sheep on the side of the hills here at Sonoma Raceway to keep the grass nice and low for us here. But a fantastic start to the year. We still have another race tomorrow to do as well, which we might see some shifting and shuffling in that order, but we'll have to re-qualify for that tomorrow morning as well. As we had a great race 1, let's have a look at the highlights for this first race for Toyota GR Cup North America from Sonoma Raceway. Race number 1. Here's the start. Weston Workman was on the front row alongside Gresham Wagner. It was a drag race up the hill to turn 1, but big sketchy moments as we head up into this first corner. They were 3 wide and a couple cars getting shuffled off to the edges of the road early in this one. The 50, the 14, all battling for position. Then a couple of jukes and jives out of the way. There goes the 7 as Spencer bucked him off track early. He managed to have a decent race after that at the very least. Side by side into turn number 4. Jade Evedizian also in that big crash at turn 11. That was Tyler Wettengel and Aiden Yoder coming together, causing our first and only full course yellow. 15-year-old Adam Brickley picking up a spot on Max Hewitt. Other scraps throughout the field there. There's the number 50, Casey Mashore. Big slide from the number 34 as well. That was all sorts of fun here in Toyota GR Cup North America. What a battle. Wagner picks up the win